Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be breaking every element from worst to best. Now, I thought this was a really important video to make because there has been a lot of reworks to a lot of the common elements, and I have gotten people, saying, how good are the new common elements or stuff like that. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking every element from worst to best. If you guys enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe, let's go right to the video, guys. Alright, so coming in 14th place is going to be Gale. Now, this one should be pretty obvious to you guys by this point. Gale is quite literally just a worse wind now. It pretty much has all of Wind's abilities, the same exact thing, but it's worse. So, Gale, there's not really much to say about it. It's literally just a worst wind now. It's literally just the worst win now with all of the changes to win. And honestly, Gale as it is definitely needs that fat rework, because if they don't plan on reworking Gale at all, they might as well just delete it from the game. That's how bad it is. It's literally so bad that I legitimately think that it would be better just to delete it from the game entirely, just because you have more of a chance of getting the better elements, you know what I'm saying? Now, that is partially serious and partially not serious. Like, nobody is ever going to use this element, and unless it gets that fat rework, like all the abilities honestly just need change entirely. Nobody will use it at all. Now, coming to 13th place is going to be one of my old favorite elements in the game, Cement. Now, Cement has honestly fallen really far down in Shindo Life standards. First of all, a lot of the abilities are honestly just dated. They have a bunch of knockback attached to them, and they're just honestly hard to use moves in general. The only move Cement that is honestly pretty worth using is the dragon move that I just used beforehand. It's a ragdoll stun attached with a bit of damage. Honestly, the only move of Cement worth doing, considering the other moves, the stun times of them are shorter than, Luffy's arm, you know what I'm saying? All right, that's not a very good comparison because he has very long arms, but yeah, they're very short stuns. They're honestly not, they were never good in the first place. They were just usable, but now in this meta, it's honestly just terrible. The only move of Cement even somewhat worth using is the third one, and it's still very easily replaceable by other, element moves. All right, so coming in 12th place, it could be Shiver / Prism style. Now, they're both the same element, by the way. They're just reskins of each other. Now, Shiver in general has honestly fallen out of the meta. I mean, Shiver used to be a hardcore meta, it used to be a hardcore meta element. It was the, there was at one point in Shindo Life, believe it or not, where people thought Shiver would always be broken. Because, back in that era of Shindo Life, you couldn't auto-dodge mid-combo, you couldn't, use a perfect block mid-combo, and Shiver just, first of all, the shock slams specifically were insanely overpowered back then. Because pretty much what would happen is you would land a shock slam, and then you would instantly lose. That's how combos were back then, and shock slams were just an insanely good initiator. People didn't really use counters back then or auto-dodges. Pretty much you landed a shock slam and you instantly won. Now, the reason why they were on global cooldown with each other is because you could shock slam Chidori and instantly do 74,000 damage, and yeah, it was honestly just a really fun period of time in Shindo Life, in my opinion. I do like the one tap thing. I think it was honestly really fun, but when it comes down to it, Shiver has really fallen for grace. The abilities are honestly hard to integrate into combos a lot of the time. They're either super close ranged, they place lock you. Honestly, just really bad abilities in general, and it definitely does deserve the 12th place slot on this list. Have you ever gotten 80th spin rarity and gotten something like just atomic? Well, that's because you haven't hit the like button on this video yet. If you hit the like button on this video, you're guaranteed to get 10 million times luck. 100%. Now, coming to 11th place, it could be Chaos / Order. Now, Chaos / Order right here is honestly just it's a really weird bloodline. It has a lot of really weird abilities, but the main faults of it lie in that it's on a global cooldown, and it has abilities on global cooldown with each other. A lot of the abilities are honestly just wonky to use. They're honestly just they're worse versions of abilities that are already in the game, and by worse versions, I mean significantly worse. Like, they're not even close to how good the other versions are. The only ability somewhat worth using from Chaos and Order is the 5th ability of it, which is, it's like a pseudo iframe ability that you can hold down. It doesn't knock back at the end and stuff like that. It's only auto dodge global cooldown now, which is why I say it's maybe not even worth it. But when it comes down to it, it isn't as bad as the ones below it, and I definitely feel like it does have some merits to it. Like, it does have some stun abilities, some combo potential, and it does have that really good iframe ability. So that's why it's going to be somewhat high on the list, but still pretty far down. Now, coming to 10th place, it could be Liquid. Now, for this one in Stone, I just want to make you guys aware, by the time you watch this video, they may be reworked. I'm talking about in like a week or 2 weeks from now. By the time you watch this, they may be reworked. So it's just worth, seeing whether they're reworked or not before you look at the ranking of these. But these moves right now, they're definitely not the worst in the game, but I do feel like they have, a lot of, very major downsides. The second one obviously doesn't even fit into the game at all. It's like a water beam ability. It was never good in the first place. The Dragon ability is okay, but Acid just honestly has a much better version of it. The fourth ability, the Wave ability, is a block breaking move. It also has no end lag. Now, I'm pretty sure it doesn't block break stronger block, but it does block break a regular block. It also has no end lag attached to it, which does make it okay. Now, this Water Prison ability is honestly garbage. I mean, there's not much to say about it. They've added so many new stuns to the game that a close range, stun that you have to touch someone for, literally have to touch them on the stun global cooldown, it's honestly not even good whatsoever. It doesn't fit into this meta at all. And then the other abilities of Liquid, which is the Dragon ability, does a bit of damage with knockback. Now, you guys may be thinking, why is it ranked 10th if you have a downside to every major ability? Well, the reason for this is because honestly, Liquid, the abilities could be a lot worse. They're very usable abilities in my opinion, even though they're not, not the best in the game. The Shark ability does a lot of damage. Wave ability allows you to combo with it, and it does have a, a place lock stun attached to it. It's just like, I do imagine that when this gets reworked, it's going to be a lot better, so just keep that as a grain of salt if you're watching this after the rework. Now, coming to 9th place, it could be Yin. Now, I'm not going to talk about Yin that much because it's almost the same exact thing as Yang, and I'll talk about Yang, more. But when it comes to Yin, Yin's going to be below Yang because Yin doesn't have a small Genjutsu stun attached to it. It's just going to be, raw damage. Now, coming in 8th place is going to be Yang. Now, Yang is going to be coming in 8th place, honestly, just because the first ability does a bit of damage. Now, ever since they nerfed Yang's damage amounts, it isn't nearly as good as it was before, but it's still pretty easy to integrate into combos. It still does a bit of damage, and all of your combos that used Yang before still work with Yang, but it just does less damage. Now, the reason why this is going to be higher than Yin is because it, it does have a little effect attached to it that Yin doesn't actually have, and there is a very short stun attached to some of the moves. So that's why Yang is better than Yin, even though they're almost exactly the same. Now, coming to 7th place is going to be Stone. Now, this is honestly for two major reasons. Number one, the third ability is an iframe. It's an iframe that's equipable to the element slots. It also is a barrier ability, so you could trap people inside of it and stuff like that. It also allows you to, on the conquest map, you can use this move to block off the spot so people can't actually use it. Very good move for that as well. Honestly, the other abilities of Stone are pretty trash. I mean, I do think that the Dragon ability of Stone is actually quite good, though. Yeah, Dragon ability is pretty good. The Stone ability, which is the fourth one, is honestly just a really used move as well. But when it comes down to it, people generally only use Stone for the 6th, the iframe, and the 4th move. The other moves are honestly pretty terrible, but the other moves do carry this element enough, especially the iframe, to being 7th place on this list. Now, coming to 6th place is going to be Shock. Now, this one is like, I feel like this one's definitely going to make some people mad, but it's for some very specific reasonings. Now, I'm going to be going over this one a little bit more in detail because it is a remaster that happened recently, as well with Flame when that comes up. But when it comes to Shock, so I honestly think the Shock remaster, it was really good visual rework, but it's honestly just, it's not that usable still. First of all, now it's 3 hand signs to use the Senbon ability. The stun is the exact same. Pretty much the Senbon ability is the exact same. It's just the visual change. It was honestly always a pretty, okay ability in general. It's a very average ability. It's definitely a B tier ability. It's a good, combo extending stun move, but there's tons of those in the game. The first ability is Slipstream, and honestly, this ability is pretty terrible in my opinion. First of all, it has so much end lag that if you miss it, you're getting comboed instantly. This move, if you miss it, any move in the game, if you miss it and you get comboed because of it, is, not that great of a move in all honesty. Now, the second move is the fact they let you move during it definitely makes it a lot better, but I do think the fact that it's so close range and a lot of the game kind of revolves around, long range PvP, you're only going to be using this for M1 combos, and M1 combos right now really are not the best. So these 3 moves are the good moves, by the way. So all of the 3 moves I showed you are all like B tier, B minus tier moves, just because, they're very locked to being M1 combo abilities. You can integrate them into other combos, but in general, it's honestly just going to be those element moves. You're just going to throw it to your moveset when you have nothing else to use. But the other abilities are like D tier moves. First of all, the Chidori move is a really good move. Like it's just like, it's like, wow, it's a, it's a stun extender move that dashes, and what could be bad about it? It's on the stun global cooldown. Any elemental ability that is on the stun global cooldown is pretty much instantly bad, and it is. So rip to that. Now, the Thunder Rain ability, I don't get why people think the Thunder Rain ability is bad. The Thunder Rain ability is literally one of Shock's best abilities. The reason for this is because it is a delayed stun attack, and how this works is that you can actually start the move and then move into range, and it will hit them afterwards. It's based on the AoE around you, so you can start this move, dash into them, and it will hit them afterwards. Like, I'll show you right here after you use Kirin. This move is bad. I mean, it does a lot of damage, but it has so much end lag, you're gonna get comboed if you missed it. It has a really long cooldown, and it's honestly not that great of a move. But here's the Rain ability. So like I said, since it's based on AoE around you, you can actually dash into them afterwards, and the stun will hit them afterwards. It's Shock's best ability. Shock is honestly, I do think it was a really good rework. It definitely looks a lot better, but it's, you know, 6th place is very solid for it, in my opinion. Now, coming in 5th place is going to be Combustion. Now, Combustion is pretty much just old Flame. I do imagine they're going to be reworking Combustion and making it exactly like Flame, but just does more damage. That's generally how they go with it. But Combustion, as it definitely is not a bad bloodline. Some of the moves block break, like the 5th one. Honestly, you know, Combustion is honestly a pretty good bloodline, all things considered. I mean, it has a combo extender, instant combo extender, not any global cooldown, which is the first one. I mean, the abilities do a decent amount of damage. They're also pretty fast overall. Combustion is actually a very solid element, especially if you're actually really good at aiming. So yeah, Combustion, I think it's a solid 5th place element for this tier list. Now, coming to 4th place is going to be Acid. Now, this one should be fairly obvious. First of all, the Acid Dragons do tons of damage. Like you see, boom. Look at that fat damage. It's a lot of damage. It does like 80,000 damage. It's a really good ability in general. The other abilities of Acid are okay as well. I mean, like, that one's not that good, but you do have the bubble effect that you can throw into combos very easily. It does have the wave move that does block break and stuff like that. And, you know, but the main reason why Acid is going to be this high is honestly because of the 3rd move. It's a huge damage amount move, and it's really easy to integrate into combos as well. It has no end lag too, so you can combo extend with it. And it's honestly just a really, really high damage element, and that seems to be what is good right now in this meta. Now, coming in 3rd place is going to be my new favorite element, Flame. Flame is absolutely ridiculous. So, just to get this started, first of all, they did actually nerf the Fireball move. It's only 8-second cooldown, but it's significantly slower than what it was. But it looks better, so, you know, it is what it is. It's worse than it was because it's harder to use because it's so slow. People could just dash out of it. But that's not the ability that's good. First of all, the second ability is the exact same as what it was before, but it looks cooler. So that, you know, I think this is a very visually amazing element, by the way. Now, the 3rd move is going to be a Fireball move that has hit stun attached to it. When, you know, not the burn damage, it's when it actually hits them. And I honestly think that, you know, Flame right now, these 3 abilities are already pretty good. I mean, an 8-second cooldown ability that allows you to spam it's good. A true combo extending move that has hit stun attached to it. No end lag allows you to extend with it. And then the 3rd move has hit stun, which allows you to combo extend with it again. Pretty much, this is just a better Shock because instead of having a, you know, stun, it's hit stun, which is a better stun because it can't double stun. Now, the 4th ability of Flame is honestly one of Flame's better abilities. As you guys can see, it is a very close range move, but it does tons of damage, and it does, you know, it's just a high damage move, easy to integrate into combos. The 5th move is, I do think the 5th move is one of Flame's worst moves. I do think the knockback can be handy, but not in this meta. I'm pretty sure in CC, that's probably what it's going to be meant for. Now, the 4th move, like I said, if you're extremely close to them, it does 60,000 damage with burn damage on a 15-second cooldown. But the single best ability of Flame is going to be the 6th one. Now, I don't know why they did this, but the 6th ability of Flame has hit stun attached to it. Look, that's a stun. That they put the Shock move on this stun global cooldown when it's not even a, you know, a very good stun. That's a good stun. That right there is an amazing stun. It's an elemental move which allows you to put it on the first 3 slots, which doesn't take up EKG slots. It's an extremely long stun, and it does tons of damage, and it's ranged. It's pretty much a higher damage ranged water prison stun because it does place lock them due to them being in the mouth. It's just an extremely good move. Flame is honestly my new favorite element in this game, and I do think you guys should definitely check it out if you haven't already, because this element is fire. Pun intended. Pun intended. You heard that? This element is fire. Pun has been intended, man. Now, coming in 2nd place is actually going to be Wind. Now, Wind is going to be here for a pretty obvious reason. First of all, the first ability is a true combo extending ragdoll stun on a 10-second cooldown. 10-second combo extending move. It's just absolutely insane. It's just like, just imagine a 10-second cooldown move that allows you to extend combos and does do a lot of damage as well. It's an absolutely amazing move. Now, the 2nd move, if you're close to them, it does 60k. It's another ragdoll stun move. I'm pretty sure it also block breaks. Let me have them block. Now, I do think the issue with Wind is that a lot of the moves that are the best moves do not actually block break, but it does have some block breaking moves. Like, I'm pretty sure the 2nd and the 6th move do block break. All right, so the 2nd one doesn't. Let's check the fight. Okay, yeah. The 6th move, that's the one I thought that block break. The 6th move does block break, but it has a severe lack of block breakers. Now, Wind overall has a lot of combo extending potential with the 1st, the 4th, and the 5th ability. Honestly, all of them are just insanely good combo extending abilities in general, and Wind actually has a lot more damage potential than you might think. A lot of the abilities by themselves don't do overwhelming damage amounts, but when you start throwing them into combos, the damage adds up very quickly. So Wind's a very, very solid 2nd place bloodline. Not bloodline, Bloodline element. I'm gonna say Bloodline a lot in this video probably, and I do think that it definitely prioritizes in combo extending potential. By the way, guys, what is your favorite element in Shindo Life? Leave it in the comments below. We'll be checking them out. All right, so the first ability of Pyromania. Okay, so yeah, I forgot to say this. Coming in first place is going to be Pyromania, as you guys can tell. Pyromania, honestly, it just has a lot of really good combo extending moves. It's just a really easy to use element as well, which definitely fits into, you know, what this is. And yeah, I mean, like, Pyromania, there's a reason why so many people use it. It's just honestly a really good element. It does lots of damage. It has burn damage attached to it. It has a lot of easy to use combo extending moves. Has an extremely long-ranged final move that does a lot of damage as well. Honestly, oh, Maru Spirit gets leveled up by this too. That's actually kind of funny. It's honestly just, like, this element is, like, I'm gonna say this, and I feel like a lot of people may agree or disagree with this. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. But this element should have been what Surge was and what Magma was. Those, I feel like they should have followed the trend and been elements. They should have had, like, all the abilities could have been similar like this. They all revolve around blue flames. But it's just like the way they implemented Pyromania into the game is just so much more impactful than Surge and Magma, because the fact that it's an element just makes it so much more important. It's important for the game's balance as well, because there's not very many good elements. So a good element will, you know, significantly change the meta and stuff like that. It'll be a lot more impactful for the game. And I feel like Pyromania is honestly just a boss drop done right. Extremely fun to use. It looks extremely good, and it's honestly just an amazing element in my opinion. Anyways, guys, that's proof for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe. Hope you subscribe. Bye bye.